Good afternoon and welcome. This is Sunyoung Oh, graduate research assistant and doctoral student at UCA headquarters at Michigan State University. I'm here today to interview Dr. Kristin Huggins as a part of her candidacy for the UCA Executive Committee. Today, listeners will be hearing from Dr. Huggins, an associate professor at Washington State University. Her teaching and research are focused on leadership development for district and school improvement. Welcome, Dr. Huggins. Let's begin with the first question. Please tell us about your background and your work as it relates to UCA mission and goals.
So currently, I am an associate professor of educational leadership at Washington State University. This is my 12th year as a higher education faculty member, and all of that time has been at Washington State. I spent 11 years as a K-12 practitioner in Oklahoma and Texas before pursuing my PhD and seeking a job in higher education. So UCA's mission kind of revolves around three goals. And the first one is promoting, sponsoring, and disseminating research on the essential problems of schooling and leadership practice. My research revolves around leadership development for district and school improvement. So district and school improvement broadly is about addressing problems of practice. So my research aligns with promoting this arm of the mission. And then another piece of the mission is improving the preparation and professional development of educational leaders and professors. While my current work as the program coordinator for both educational leadership program on my campus and as well as the statewide EDD program for WSU, where there are always considerations of leadership development in the forefront of my mind due to those roles. My research is focused in this area on leadership development, and I am continuously questioning what will develop leaders further, specifically leaders in practice, and how to provide the professional development that will assist leaders in addressing the problems of practice they face that are the first piece of the UCA mission. And then the last piece of the UCA mission is about influencing local, state, and national educational policy. And in the state of Washington, accreditation is based upon state metrics, not national accreditation. So I think that it's really important that I bring this perspective to the UCA Executive Committee, that sometimes policies are very localized and that programs have to navigate those in a very state or even county context.
Thank you so much. So you have served for several years as a plenary session representative. Could you please tell us about your engagement in UCA's governance?
So I have been the plenary session representative since 2014 for Washington State University, which has involved being a voting member for my institution concerning changes to policy and membership applications. So I have done that for the last 8 years. I've also seen the evolution of UCA as an organization, the transition between two executive directors. And so I have also been engaged in UCA initiatives. And part of my desire to run for the UCA Executive Committee is to become more involved in the governance aspects of UCA. I have been involved in multiple aspects of UCA, but not as firmly planted in the governance aspects. And so I'm really excited for the opportunity to be involved in governance.
Thank you. Next, in what other ways have you been engaged in UCA?
So I have been involved in UCA since my early time as a graduate student. My dissertation advisor was on the executive committee, Dr. Sherrick. So I was attending UCA since 2006, but my initial involvement per se would be when it occurred as a graduate student when I was a Clark Scholar. So I attended the conventions in 2006 and 2007, and then I worked actually as a graduate student assistant at the conventions in 2008 and 2009. And then as an assistant professor, I wrote the exemplary programs column. I was the section editor for the UCA Review. I've also been an associate editor for 2 of the 3 UCA journals, both Educational Administration Quarterly from 2011 to 2018. And then I was the associate editor of Journal of Research on Leadership Education, another UCA journal from 2016 to 2018. Excuse me. Besides being WSU's representative on the plenum since 2014, from 2016 to 2020, I was a part of UCA's Program Design Network initiative on the powerful learning experience with a focus on equity. So, and we use that work to transform our programs at WSU to be more equity focused. So I've been involved in UCA in multiple ways, through journals, through editorship, through volunteerism, through being involved in the initiatives. And so I am very supportive of the work that UCA does.
Thank you again. Then please discuss your scholarship, research projects, teaching, and/or service that can inform the work of UCA, particularly the work of the executive committee.
So my research is centered around a model for ways in which leadership can be developed in practice. With the changes in ESSA and as states look for ways to make changes to professional development for leaders, I believe we have a research base that can provide assistance in that area. Additionally, my work has occurred through a research practice partnership. As the field evolves, there will be an even greater need for understanding the knowledge and skills needed to have effective research practice partnerships for higher education institutions to be seen as viable and influencing the educational leadership field. So I really believe that my work could inform the executive committee in this area as we seek to increase our viability to the educational leadership practice field.
Okay, thank you. Last question. Could you share the reasons why you have chosen to run for the UCA Executive Committee and your vision for the future of UCA?
So I mentioned earlier, I've been involved in UCA since my first attendance at a convention in 2006. So in a variety of ways, I've been involved over the past 15 years. When I was approached about my willingness to run for the executive committee this year, it seemed like the next level of commitment I could provide to the organization. I have been a champion at my own institution for increasing educational leadership program and practice quality. I am an advocate of the work UCA does and would like to be even more engaged in that work. I envision UCA becoming even more viable to educational leadership practice, and that's the vision I have for the executive committee.
Thank you for your time and thoughtful response, Dr. Huggins. This interview will be archived on the UCA YouTube channel. Listeners can access or share the interview at any time. We also encourage listeners to post comments and questions on this interview in the comments section. Thank you and goodbye.